Good
There it
morning,
is.
everyone. Welcome to the Daily Whatever Show. I'm Dana Dubois.
I'm Lawrence Winterman.
It's so good to see you today, just like every day, Lawrence.
Yes, like every day, 6 days a week, like
Ev-
clockwork,
Every day. Yeah,
every single day.
I love when people are like, you go live with Lawrence 6 mornings a week for an hour? How do you have that much to talk about?
Right? Like it's not hard.
I I wish
Uh,
we could talk more.
we're just having the conversation that we've been having for 40 years, for God's sake.
I know. And Lawrence, I got a new like sweatshirt sweater thing here this
It's very
weekend.
cute.
Thank you. I
I'm
feel
wearing
like
my
it.
whatever sweatshirt.
I love it. I
Yeah.
feel like it's a little much on camera. Is it too many patterns? I count on you to let me know.
Actually, I no, I'm gonna vote that it works. I like it.
Okay, chat, weigh
I'm
in.
warning you, I slept terribly. I went to bed super late. This is my coffee this morning,
Oh my
and this
God.
is my second one.
Oh my God. I just made my tea, so I'm ready to drink all of this while we talk. And while we talk with Patricia Ross today, a guest who, Lawrence, how long have I been trying to get Patricia on the show?
It's been a while. It's been a minute. I know
I'm
that you
so
have
thrilled.
long been saying we have to get Patricia Ross on the show.
Yes, so we're in for a real treat. She will be joining us shortly. I know her she is a writer on Medium, and I also met her. We have a cute origin story on Substack because we both took Christina God's like help we don't know how to Substack class at the same time. So we met, virtually this through the class, and I've been trying to get her on the show ever since. And she's 80, she just turned 87, which is amazing. And she is still a practicing, I think, psychologist or psychotherapist. We'll ask her to get the correct word there. And an avid writer and podcaster here on Substack. So we're going to be bringing her on in a few minutes after we do our intro. So it
Yeah.
feels like,
What
yeah,
madness do we have to talk about this morning? It sounds like little Petey Hegseth is in trouble.
it
Not
does
only
sound
are
that way.
people quite mad that he murdered people on the high seas, like a pirate, but apparently also today is the day that they're releasing the Inspector General is releasing the report on Signalgate. Remember that? It seems like 100 years ago.
Oh, finally.
Yeah,
I thought
and
he just got
so
away with that.
it is nope. There was an inspectors general thing happening in the background. They're releasing the report today, and gosh,
Oh,
look, it seems like he actually put troops' lives in danger by leaking, accidentally leaking um, classified Pentagon battle plans over Signal.
you don't
Oops.
say. Oh, wow. Was that bad to leak stuff over Signal? I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Heavy
yeah,
sarcasm filter.
right.
Um, okay, well, you know, I wish him only the best.
Right. Good luck, Pete. And the other thing I want to say is I think maybe the administration is miscalculating.
Oh, miscalculating?
Miscalculating because I saw Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, go on a program and insist that the affordability crisis is fake news and made up and
Oh,
a
yeah,
Democratic hoax. And I'm like, yeah, you know what, you guys? Here's the thing. Most people just go to the grocery store and see that there's an affordability crisis. I'm not
right.
sure you're going to convince them of the error of their lying eyes. So good
Right.
luck
Have
with
you
that.
seen your utility bills? I
Right.
mean,
Right.
I I just when you have that much money and someone else paying your bills for you, probably you're like, there's no problem.
Yeah.
Nobody like me has a problem. Fabulous. Well, I can't wait for that one to get his comeuppance.
Honestly, all of them. I if at some point in this life we don't see all of them get their comeuppance, I'm going to be very, very cranky.
I
I've been
am
told a lot of things about karma and justice and,
moral
evil
arc of the
never wins.
universe. Hmm.
You know, I kind of need that to happen at some point, or I'm going to be a very angry ghost.
Right? Oh my God, a very angry ghost. That's right. We're gonna be like the daily haunting show. We're gonna show up and be like,
Right.
"Whoa, what did you?"
Ooh, damn you, Donald Trump,
Oh
you
my God.
pedophile, misogynist asshole.
Oh my God. Kids run screaming. Actually, people are gonna be like, "Get these ghosts a microphone. Let them
Get them a
get
book
going."
deal and a six-figure income.
Right? Let's do that. Um, I have kind of exciting news,
Ooh,
not
let's hear it.
political news, but me news. I wrote a new essay and posted it to Substack last night. And today at 10 a.m. my time, so 1 p.m. Eastern,
Eastern.
I am going to go on Salty Politics with Julie Roginski to talk
Yes.
about the essay. I'm so excited. We love Julie. And she actually, when we went on her show a few weeks ago on Halloween, we can't remember the date. We can't forget that date. We were on Halloween. Here, I'm putting the link in the chat. We talked about AI and not as like ew AI bad. We both use AI. We know there, you know, we don't want this to be a like we're old people who don't understand technology conversation, but kind of came on to warn about some of the
Right.
potential pitfalls of AI and of the just sort of embrace the blind embracing that we're seeing. And as part of that conversation, I told a story about something that had happened to me back in April when I was traveling overseas, where I had Facebook's dating AI try to set me up with a man who didn't exist to go to a show that wasn't happening at a very real life rock venue in
Yeah.
Seattle. And um, it was honestly, Lawrence, it's been long enough that you know how like things start taking on that did that
No, no.
really
I mean,
happen
I
flavor.
remember. I remember in the moment. I remember you sharing those screen caps with me in the moment and being like, this is insane. This doesn't seem like it could be real. And
It
now with like a bit of distance, the passage of time, it's like, did that actually happen that way? And then in the article you put, I read the article, it's fabulous, by the way.
Thank you.
You put the screenshots of the text messages with this AI chatbot thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, right. Yeah, no, not only is it real, it is as egregiously bad as I remember it being.
Right. It
Um,
was yeah. And those of you like I'm betting maybe Karen may have been there. We went live from my hotel lobby in Galway because I was texting you like I can't believe this is happening. And there are about I think there's 7 or 8 screenshots in the story. I have like 30. I mean, I captured the whole conversation. Um, it was here was the weird thing about it, Lawrence. I was like it was a perfect storm. It was I was had just flown to Galway, so I was or to Dublin and then trained to Galway, so I was super jet lagged
yeah,
and susceptible. And I had used the dating AI had appeared a few weeks earlier, and being someone who likes to look into technology, I was like, sure, you can make suggestions, and it seemed pretty innocuous. So when I got the message that was like, hey, you should check out Ryan, this age does this. I clicked it and was like, oh, it blocked. And I have no idea if Facebook dating AI is supposed to work or not in Ireland, but it somehow broke because I was an edge case, right? I Seattle based typically. I was in Ireland, and when I said, oh, I can't see it, that's when I think it all cracked. The
yeah.
Facebook dating AI was like, I will not be deterred. I'll message him on your behalf. And so
Friend,
I'm having
friend, save it. Save it for Julie Roginski's show. We got to bring Patricia on here.
Oh, you're right. You're right. I'm sorry, but before I let it go altogether, like please, I'd love for you all to read this and share it because I think this is a very, um, it might be an edge case, but it is a great example of what AI can do when it kind of jumps the guardrails
Yeah,
for
it
whatever
it is
reason.
terrifying. It is truly terrifying. And I'm of the belief that the reason you don't see the AI chatbot anymore is because the devs were like, "Oh shit, we got to
Yeah,
block her and make sure she never sees it again."
it disappeared for me. I know other people still see it, but it's like we're not going to help Dana
Yeah,
anymore.
not her. She's danger. All right, with all of
Let's
that
bring
being
Patricia
said,
on.
Patricia,
Yeah.
brace yourself. We're going to bring you on screen. Hello. Welcome to the Daily Whatever Show.
Hello.
Good
Thanks
morning,
for having me.
Patricia. Oh my gosh, we're thrilled to have you here. Um, everyone. Patricia, meet Chat. Chat, meet Patricia.
Hi.
Can you? I gave you a bit of an introduction, but would love for you, in your own words, to say hi and tell everyone who you are and what you're doing here on Substack.
Well, Thursday is my day. Thursday is the day when I post. So my Substack is called From There to Here, and it's a memoir, and I usually write in memoir, short pieces. So I just published a book a couple of months ago.
Yes, we're going to get into that too.
From There to Here, but I'm about to come out with the next one, which is From Here to Beyond.
Nice.
With a nod to Toy Story. And
oh my gosh.
Yeah. So, and I prefer this one to the first one, but that's it. So I am old, and I can't believe how old I am. I never thought I'd get this old. And I mean, I have daughters in their 60s, which is like, how did they get to be older than I am? But God, I'm still here. I still apparently seem to have my marbles. And so I've done many things in my life. And this is the newest, most recent iteration. But I'm still practicing as a psychotherapist and have a part-time practice. But I've been many things in my life. That's it. I think one of the most amusing compliments I ever got was from somebody on Substack who said, in a drawer of butter knives, you're a Swiss Army knife. And I thought, I like that, because I've done many things. I've been a musician all my life, and taught piano for 36 years. And then I was a photographer, fine art photographer, and assisted at Ansel Adams workshops in Yosemite in the 70s. And
what? I didn't even know that. Holy.
Yeah, I've done many things. And then I went back to school late. I mean, when I was 50. But I've been in practice for over 30 years now. And so I've done many things. They all start with P, except for writing.
What could we say what's a synonym for writing?
Now I want to pull out a thesaurus and find
prose.
Prose, yes, you're a prose artist.
Yes, right.
Well, I think we can make that one count. So you are a multi-hyphenate.
I'm curious, I'm interested in many things.
I love that. And when we were coming up with the idea, like the theme of the show,
yes.
I said kind of aging and creativity, or keeping one's creative power, I think was what I said, aging. And you were like, I never lost my creative power. I've always had it. Which I love. And I think about this a lot. So Lawrence and I are Gen X, obviously with Gen XC in the title. We're in our mid-50s. And I like a lot of Gen Xers, I think, feel this sense of urgency around, like, if I haven't done it yet, what is it that I need to do? And
wow.
Yeah, and I wonder if you have advice for folks like you went back in your 50s to school, which in the US is a massive undertaking in particular. Like, what drove that instinct to be like, I have another chapter that I need to write, literally another, and I don't mean as a writer, I mean you wanted to go change professions.
Yeah. Well, I got married, a second marriage.
Okay.
At the age of 48, and he was a psychoanalyst, and so it was in self-defense that I decided to go into the field, but it was, and I'm so glad I did, because it's a very gratifying profession to be in, and infinitely interesting and difficult too at times. But that was a marriage of 27 years. And unfortunately, he was a brilliant person. And I learned everything I ever knew about relationship by being married to him. And he had, the last 7 years of his life, had Alzheimer's. So that was very challenging for me. And it depleted our resources. my God, it was like, don't get sick when you're older. It depletes your resources in this country, no matter what insurance you have. So, so that's how I got into being a psychotherapist.
Wow.
Patricia, that is such an inspirational story. And I will tell you, I'm 55 and I am contemplating going back to school to get a degree in counseling.
Good.
Because I've always I've been drawn to it. And I think I feel like it would be very nurturing for me. And as a gay man, I kind of think it's my mission maybe to help role model aging with grace as a gay guy in this country.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it's a challenging field,
Yeah.
but very rewarding, very rewarding. Unfortunately, it hasn't made me rich, but it subsidizes Social Security. I was hoping that writing would also, and maybe it still will.
Yeah.
And I have a handful of paid subscribers on Substack, but I have almost 3,000 subscribers, but only a handful of paid ones. So,
Yeah.
so going back to school, it's just going back to school is great if you pick a good school. And my school was like just very progressive, and very feminist oriented, and a cohort of maybe 13 people, and we all went through the 2-year program together. So it was like being in group therapy for 2 years. It was great.
Yeah. So
And
you did this about 30 years ago. So this would have been maybe mid 90s. Is that right?
well, I got my master's in 92.
Okay.
And then I had to do, I don't know what it is in Indiana, if you're planning to do it there.
Yeah.
But in California, you have to get licensed, 3,000 hours of internship.
Right.
Most of it unpaid. So 3,000 hours. So I got licensed in 96.
Okay.
That's
it is
crazy amount of time.
in Indiana. It is 3,000 hours here as well. I have
It
learned.
is. But I encourage you to do it. You'll never regret it. I think it's, well, first of all, they're doing so much in the field because of MRI scans, and they're scanning people before and after a certain amount of therapy, and they're discovering, because of neurogenesis, that we are growing new neurons.
Right.
And that some people have always said, how can talking help? Why don't you just go talk to a friend or somebody like that? And they're finding out that in the course of therapy, in the course of talking, we are instilling new neurons in people's brains that make connections. And so part of how it works is that in the course of therapy, one develops an observing ego. Like, you can be in a feeling and thrashing around with it, but there's a part of you out here that's observing what's going on with you. And then you start to make connections. So between observation and connecting, it is creating new neuron connections. And so it's just an amazing thing. They're coming up with the scientific proof of how it works.
And what's so fascinating about that is, I am old enough to remember learning that there was no such thing as neurogenesis, right?
Right.
That you couldn't create new neurons in your life, that you lost them and you never gained them. And we're learning that's just not true.
Yeah, it's not true. It's not true. Where there's life, there's a lot to go on, a lot ahead.
Yeah, very much.
This may be a kind of psychology 101 question, but what's the difference between psychotherapy and just therapy? Are they synonymous, or is it a specific kind of therapy?
They're synonymous for me, but there are other kinds of therapists, like a hypnotherapist. I mean, that's still a psychotherapist, but massage therapist, or there are different kinds of therapists, physical therapist.
Yeah.
But psychotherapist deals with consciousness and
Okay.
feelings,
Yes.
brain.
Yeah.
Got it. So that was just what I was clarifying. Like, is it
Yeah.
a specific kind of this kind of therapy?
Yeah.
It sounds like it's a general term.
And then there's psychoanalysis,
Yes.
which is more intensive. And it's not everybody can afford to do that unless they're in training. Most of the people in psychoanalysis are in training to become psychoanalysts. But that's more intensive. It's like 3 or 4 times a week on the couch where a client just lies on the couch and the analyst sits behind and it's free association.
Hmm.
So I did 7 years of psychoanalysis too.
Oh,
But
wow.
As a
You know,
clinician or as a patient?
as a patient,
Oh, wow.
I'm not a psychoanalyst, but I'm psychoanalytically informed.
Interesting.
that's amazing.
What's that?
Well, I was thinking that psychoanalysis is, um, it makes me think of Freud, right? You know, the lying on
Yes,
the couch and the
yes,
analyst is sitting behind you, and
right.
um, I there's a piece of me that kind of forgets that that's still a thing. You know, I think of that sort of that vignette, that scene of a patient on a couch, and it makes me think, you know, of times gone by and not necessarily like a current modality.
Well, there's such a thing as contemporary
Hmm.
psychoanalysis,
Yeah.
and it's how Freudian psychoanalysis has developed. So it's very different than in Freudian times.
Yeah.
And Freudian times were not that, I mean, it wasn't that long ago, the
Uh,
beginning of the 20th century.
yeah, that is true.
So, anyway, there's contemporary psychoanalysis, which is very different from formal classic psychoanalysis.
Got it. Got it.
Love it. I do have to point out, because a couple of us in the chat are weighing in, that Lawrence is a trained hypnotherapist and is
Well,
excellent.
Yay, I think that's wonderful.
yeah,
I,
my caveat is so I loved practicing hypnotherapy, and uh part of what is inspiring me to consider getting a degree in psychology is because I felt like without that underpinning of training, that I couldn't be as effective a hypnotherapist as I wanted to be. You know, so I went through the certification to become a hypnotherapist in Washington State, uh, but I felt personally like there was more that I needed to do to really truly you know, be efficacious at it. And so I
right.
appreciate the kudos, but
Oh, I think it's
Um,
a wonderful thing. I think hypnotherapy is a wonderful thing.
yeah.
And now the thing about getting licensed is that then you can charge insurance companies. But
Mhm.
more and more therapists are not even being providers. And I no longer am a provider for any insurance company.
right.
So,
Yeah, my therapist no longer takes insurance, and you know, she says that it's one of the best decisions she ever made.
yeah. So if you
Why
want,
is that? Can you? I think I know why, but I'd love to hear it from you directly.
I'll let Lawrence answer that.
Well, you're basically bound to their rates. And, you know, like everything else in American healthcare, there's severe downward pressure on the rates they're willing to, you know, recompense for. And so, you know, she charges what she believes is a fair market rate, which I would agree. It's a fair rate. It's the rate that a professional would charge, and she doesn't have to share it, you know, or you know, wait for the insurance company to okay it, or you know, give her a small fraction of that fee. It makes more sense, you know. It's kind of declaring economic independence from broken American healthcare.
Well, that's one reason. And another reason is that insurance companies, in order to reimburse, have to follow the medical model. So you have to give a diagnosis, and it
Mm.
has to be medically necessary. So, and then they dole out a certain number of sessions, and they can deny treatment for any given client. So it's a sort of onerous system.
Yeah.
where
See.
and let's not even mention confidentiality, because they sometimes require assessments, periodic assessments, and so you're not your own boss.
Right.
I see.
Right. And I think the paperwork is insane, right?
And
The
so,
amount of
well,
paperwork.
I don't do my own billing, so I stopped doing that. I got somebody else to do that. And
Smart.
when I was still taking insurance. So,
Yeah. And I
but
imagine there's, maybe this is the paranoia talking, because I know there's HIPAA and privacy, blah, blah, blah. But I don't even know if I believe in that in the US anymore. So if you have to have an official diagnosis in order to get treatment, then behind the scenes, you have this official diagnosis that may come with a stigma one day.
and you don't want to give a diagnosis that's going to follow somebody around for the rest of their lives
That's what I
and
mean.
keep them from getting a job, because it will be public, publicly known. So anyway, I think being in private practice is the only way to go. And but it is expensive, unfortunately, for a lot of people, and the people who need it the most can't afford it. So most therapists work on a sliding scale. I know I do, and have a couple of very low fee clients and one pro bono. That's how we give back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That completely makes sense. Patricia, I'd love to talk about your journey as a writer. I first met, or I didn't really meet you. I first saw your work on Medium, and then we got to meeting Christina God's amazing onboarding class, which
Yes,
I don't know about you, but I felt like really helped put me on the right path
yes.
here on Substack. And now we're here as well. Like, can you talk a little bit to that, of kind of how you came online as a writer, first on Medium and then on Substack, and kind of what the journey's
Sure.
been like? Yeah.
Well, I'm a new writer. I haven't, I can't say I've been writing all my life, except I have reams of journals.
Hmm.
So I've been writing that way. But I came to writing in COVID because of the isolation, and I had more time on my hands. And I thought, well, I'll just try my hand at writing again with Medium. And
Yes.
that was my introduction. And also, what enticed me was there was a competition for with a $10,000 prize, and I thought that sounds
Ooh.
very good. And I don't think
Ooh.
it's ever happened with Medium since. And
Like Medium, the company gave a $10,000 prize to a writer.
yes,
That was before my time.
I
Do you
think it
know
was
who won it?
I think it was 91. So I wrote I wrote a piece hoping to win. I didn't win, but it got me started with writing, and I got the bug. And I mean, I've always when I matriculated in school way back in 1960, I was an English major, and I was just fascinated with with writers and poets, and I read voraciously, and I had fantasies of being a writer. But then life intervened, and I had kids to raise and a house to run, and so forth and so on. I was a suburban housewife for quite a while, and but I started writing even though I didn't win the $10,000, and then after a few years I became disillusioned with Medium. But that's where I met Christina, because she didn't have the boot camps then, and I met her one on one to
Oh,
help
wow.
me get started on Medium and figure out what to do. She's a wonderful marketer. I mean, she does marketing, she does things like that, but her focus is not on literature, and my
No.
interest was literary. So, but I love Christina. We become very friendly, and I've taken several courses from her since we did our one-on-one. And through when I first met her, she only had one baby, and now she has two. Uh,
Oh,
she's a wonderful person, and has a lot of generosity of spirit. because she really helps people and supports them. And that's how I met her. And that's how I met you too. We were in a boot camp, weren't we?
We were in the Notes boot camp together, and
Boot camp.
I didn't necessarily even want to learn about just Notes. I just joined it because coming from Medium to Substack,
Yeah.
I had been eyeing Substack for months, and I was like, I don't know how to jump in. It's too much. It's too much. And so when Lawrence and I decided to do this, Medium, was having its challenges, still is really, but especially at the start of the year, we were like, we think we need to be on Substack. And so I saw these classes, and I talked to Robin Wilding, who is Robin here. I don't know if she's in the chat today. She's here a lot, but she was doing great on Substack for Medium, and she had started off with a boot camp. And so I was like, this seems like a worthwhile investment. I keep asking Christina to come on the show, and she's so funny. She's like, but I'm not a native speaker. And she has this hesitation about it that I'm like, Christina, God,
she teaches classes. Her English
come
is
on,
amazing.
get on the show. So
But
Christina,
she has a podcast.
I know, if you're out there listening, you've got to come on our show. But I learned about Notes, and I when I first got here, I was like, I was having a very hard time with like, what is a note versus a chat, and what is a publication versus a person, which I still find kind of confusing, to be honest. The paradigm of how, like the way Lawrence and I have Gen XE set up, it kind of confuses Substack a bit, I think, because it's both of our primary publications, but we don't get alerts when things happen. We only get them when it's to our personal accounts. All of that said, Christina's class was super helpful in getting off the ground. And I know you, because it was a Notes boot camp, I know you had a note go really viral.
Oh, yes.
Can you talk about that? Because I have yet to crack the code on Notes.
Go figure. I mean, it's who can tell what makes something go viral? But I wrote one sentence, and I'll try to paraphrase it here, but it was, somebody was bemoaning the fact that they were in their late 30s and hadn't accomplished what they wanted to accomplish. And I said, so my sentence was, I married a wonderful man at the age of 48, second marriage. That's an aside. That wasn't in my sentence. I married a wonderful man at 48, went back to school at 50, got my master's and licensed as a marriage family therapist at the age of 56. And I published my first book at 86. And so, boom, I got 1,000 subscribers overnight.
Yeah, I remember that sentence. I remember liking it and restacking it.
Somebody even took it and plagiarized it for a nanosecond while I caught it, though.
That's when you know you've made it.
Yeah, right. When somebody steals it.
Right.
But what it spoke to, and it was the millennials that picked up on it, and one in particular, and she must have spread the word, but the millennials who were feeling hopeless.
Yes.
She wrote long emails or comments to me about feeling that she has let her parents down. I think it's more of a familial thing than a universal thing.
Yeah.
And that she didn't have a house, and she didn't have things that she should have by her age, and that I gave hope. So I got lots of comments about how I gave people hope. And I guess when you're in your 30s and you feel like you're not where you're supposed to be, whatever supposed is, where their parents were. And this is the first generation, I think, that isn't doing as well financially as their parents. And so there's a certain amount of despair.
Yes.
But so I offered hope, because I did all that late in life. I just keep going, as long as I feel I can keep going. But we were going to talk about creativity too.
Yeah.
And that's something that really interests me and always has, because most of the endeavors I've been involved with have been creative endeavors. And I've thought a lot.
Bring it. Let's talk about it.
Yeah. That I'm not a religious person. I was raised in the shadow of the Vatican. I was raised in Italy. I lived 11 years in Italy as a child.
Oh, wait, what? You are full of surprises.
Yeah.
You contain many, many multitudes.
Buy
Do you
the
speak,
book.
oh my gosh, I need to. Do you speak Italian fluently?
See, do you?
No,
Oh,
not
oh,
at all.
I can
parlo
quote the
italiano.
beginning. I can quote the beginning of Dante's Inferno in Middle Italian.
Can
Oh,
you?
Middle Italian.
Can
Like
we hear a line? Let's hear a line, Lawrence. I didn't know that.
Nel mezzo del cammin di nostra vita mi ritrovai per una selva oscura.
Oscura. That's Dante. That's
Oh,
uh,
that's hot. I
abandon
like that.
all hope, O ye who enter here, because
Yes, my
middle of my
favorite.
life, I find myself in a dark wood.
Yes,
Yes, we can all
Oh, sweet.
identify with that too.
Yeah.
Mi
very
ritrovai
much.
in una selva oscura. That's wonderful. Good for
Yeah.
you, Lawrence.
Holy cow.
There you
Yeah,
go. That's my one claim to fame.
Dante. Well, you need to know how to order spaghetti alla carbonara too, and some food. You really have.
Thankfully, I think we all know those words because they're
Yes,
like,
right.
we all grew up, we
Right,
all know
right.
Italian restaurants. So,
Well,
Enchilado.
I lived in Rome from the age of 10 to the time I was 21, and I came back to go to school. My dad was an opera singer, and my mom was a writer, and I was a kid. So
amazing.
I was saying it. But I was raised, as I said, in the shadow of the Vatican, so I am recovering Catholic. So I'm not religious. However, as I think more and more about creativity in any endeavor, it seems very clear to me that there is something that I would call source. And I had this experience, and I wrote about it in a piece called Creativity and Transcendence. And I have a daughter who lives up the road a bit in Healdsburg, and I was driving up there one Christmas or Thanksgiving or something that was a couple of years ago, and listening to some music. And I was listening to Yuja Wang, who is, I think, the best pianist alive. And she's this little slip of a Chinese, I mean, she's very glamorous. She wears mini skirts and is very provocative. And she's been criticized for the way she dresses, but she is fabulous pianist. And twice she performed all of Rachmaninoff, once in New York and once in LA with Gustavo Dudamel, who's with the LA Philharmonic.
Oh yeah,
But
Dudamel.
all three, all Rachmaninoff concerti and the theme, the Rhapsody on a Theme by Paganini, did it all in an afternoon. So I was listening to the recording driving up to Healdsburg, and I had been thinking about creativity and thinking, well, creative people get closer to source. And that's why it's so satisfying to be in a creative endeavor, is like we're closer to whatever this is that is the source of creation. And I was listening and I thought, yeah, they're all pretty close. This is what they're doing. And then it hit me, oh my God, it's source coming through them, through Gustavo Dudamel, Yuja Wang, all of the orchestra, and it just gelled. And it was source. It was like listening to the voice of God. I mean, not being religious. So that's what it is to me. And I think for me, what is necessary for me to access or allow creativity to come through me is that I have to get out of my own way. I have to get out of my own way. It's not ego, I can't do it for recognition or, I just have to get out of my way and let it come through.
I have goosebumps.
Yeah.
That's
Patricia, don't you think that is, people these days talk about flow state.
Yeah, I
And
guess that's it.
yeah, but for me as a writer, that is the closest I feel to
Yeah.
source or
Right.
God or,
Yes.
the universe.
Right.
It is getting out of my own way and letting the story come through me.
Yes,
And yeah, I think that's exactly what you're describing.
exactly. And that's what happens when I write too, when at its best.
Yeah.
Is somebody asked me when I said that I was into writing these days, and she said, fresh out of an Ivy League college, she said, "What is your process?" And I thought, huh? Huh? I sit down in front of my computer and I write.
Right.
And that's essentially what it is. And I just, I get out of my own way when I'm
Right.
at my best.
Right. On a good day, you get
On a
out of your own
good day,
way
I
and it
get out of my
flows.
own way
Yeah.
and just let it come through. So that's my thinking on creativity. Also, the last eclipse, I was looking at it. I have a grandson who's in broadcasting, and he was on television in Ohio talking about the eclipse, and his mother was in Mexico, and I was here in California, and we were all watching this eclipse at the same time. When it hit me as I saw the moon silhouetted against the sun, and I thought, holy shit, what's keeping the moon up there? What is keeping that moon from crashing into Earth? And it was like such an amazing experience
Mm.
because it's nothing man-made that's keeping that moon up there.
Oh yeah. No, it's like
Nothing keeping the galaxies doing their galaxy thing, you know?
Oh
So
my gosh.
it
yeah.
was
It's forces beyond our comprehension, like trying to imagine gravity and the speed with which things have to move so that they
right.
don't
Yeah,
so that they're in a state of equilibrium or near
absolutely.
equilibrium. Yeah, it's incredible.
It is incredible. And we, growing up, get used to it and take it for granted.
Right.
All of
It
it.
it reminds me of I wish I could quote the source. I don't remember who said it, but the idea that if we could truly comprehend the mechanisms at work within our own bodies, the within the smallest cell, the things that are operating in kind of perfect harmony to keep us alive and functioning, we would just exist in a state of absolute mind
Aw.
blownedness
Oh,
perpetually
oh,
because the things that are happening inside of us at every moment are just incredible.
that's right. That's absolutely right. I believe that. So as I get older, I take less and less for granted.
Hmm.
And it's all a miracle.
Oh my
I
gosh.
mean,
We haven't been reading many comments from the chat today, but Jessica B says full moon energies vibing out today through Patricia.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, it is. It's a full moon today.
today is the last
yeah.
day of the year. That's
Yeah.
right.
And Gloria says, I love that letting this source come through, getting out of my own way. She is refreshing. Thank you, Dana Lawrence, for having her on your show. Thank you so much. I love you all. Oh, Gloria, we love you too. Um, yeah, there was an essay of yours I really wanted to bring forward. I'm going to put the link in here. It is called From Becoming to Being, and the subhead is When the Future Shrinks.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like a lot of folks who are on the show or in the audience who come to hear our show regularly, um, I think we have this sense of like time becoming shorter as we get older.
Yes.
It only makes sense. And what I really read through this one here, let me put it in the chat. One day we'll have someone helping us. So we're not navigating all the links and the talking at the same time. The idea of we spend so much of our lives planning for a future and looking ahead down a road we assume is long, and how to get to here, how do we get where we want to go instead of saying, how do we enjoy where we are right now on the road? That was
Right.
what I really saw coming through your story that I loved. And actually, I don't even want to tell you what's in your story. I would love to hear more about the origin of this story and what you came to realize in writing it.
Well, I think a lot about death. I mean, at my age, it's like it's right there. I took a course. There's a Buddhist meditation retreat center near where I live called Spirit Rock, and they offered a year-long training called 1 Year to Live. And there were like 600 people enrolled in it worldwide. And so what it consisted of was one big meeting a month of about 3 hours, and then small groups. And small groups were in person. And so it really was focused on if you only had this year to live, how would you live it? And I think there's another Substack writer called Karen Salmonson. I don't know if you know of her. She's a wonderful writer. And
But I'm going to look her up right
oh,
now.
please have her on. And she's a best-selling author. She wrote a book called Your To Die For Life, which is if
Cool.
you know, what do you want your legacy to be? And so think about writing your own obituary and think about how you would like to be remembered by the people that you care about. Because as you get older, you don't care so much what other people think. But there are certain people that you do care about. And how would you like to be remembered? What is your legacy? And then from where you are right now, no matter where you are, you start making that happen so that you will be remembered, so that you can shape your own life. And I think there's no greater tragedy than dying in disgrace. And like Bernie Madoff or God knows any of those people who die in disgrace.
Yeah.
And there's so where was I going with that? Anyway.
No, Patricia, that's such a powerful way of thinking, and it reminds me. Dana and I both have had careers in sort of the corporate tech world, and I remember kind of hitting a moment several years back where I was like, is this like why am I so wrapped up in this? Like, is my obituary going to be like he optimized supply chain dynamics for online like, oh my God, how sad.
Yeah, like says like or for a woman, she kept a very clean house.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
so you start to work towards realizing that. And I've had a number of clients in tech and in corporate America, and I have yet to meet one who's happy. And it's for the money. It's hard to get out of it because of the money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and it's such a trap because they've engineered it in such a way that you're never quite making enough, whether by
Right.
by design or by internal motivation. Like it's easy to get stuck, and it honestly. It took this current giant job crisis that we're in, that I've been in for the last 2 years. Getting laid off and finding it impossible to find a new role. Where I was like, okay, I guess I have to do that reinvention thing at the age of 55.
Right.
It
Well,
was literally. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I had a client who got laid off precipitously and very cruelly. I mean, it was very cruel, and suddenly didn't have an identity. And that's, I think, where if one pins one's identity on your job, you're in trouble, because what if you don't have the job? So
Right.
it behooves us to develop a sense of intrinsic value.
Yes.
But no matter what, you have value. And if we have ideal parents, that's where we'll get it. But most of us have not had ideal parents. So it's traumatic. It's very traumatic to get laid off, and especially if that's your identity.
We ask us how we know.
Right.
Oh my God.
Right.
Lawrence, how many times have you been laid off?
Over the course of the last 2 years, very deeply. What you're saying resonates a lot.
It is
I've been laid off
traumatic.
3 times, I think, but I've been through I've lost 12 or 14 corporate layoffs.
Oh my God.
They happen constantly. And
It is.
I have
it's
that working in corporate America right now is, it's like we all have low grade CPTSD.
Oh, PTSD, right.
Yeah,
like chronic PTSD. And it's not like,
Absolutely.
I don't want to diminish what real soldiers are going through in saying
Right.
that, so I'm careful. But it took a while for me to acknowledge that, like, every time I would hear about layoffs coming, I'm like, oh, you're reacting like this because you know what it means and what could happen, and that is a form of trauma.
Well,
And
PTSD
everyone
is
has
just
it.
outside of the military. It's ubiquitous, it seems. We can't live in today's world without getting PTSD.
right.
I mean, just with the current administration. So I mean, that's just enough. That's traumatizing for all of us. We're a nation of traumatized people,
We are.
except for those who are happy. But Lawrence, what you said about there was never enough, that's the definition of addiction.
Right.
Is with addiction, there's never enough. And in a piece that I wrote for Thanksgiving, I came to that. My last words were, I have what a lot of billionaires don't have, and that is enough.
Yes, that is so true.
Oh my
Enough.
God.
Yeah.
Just I'm not wealthy, not, I don't have a lot of disposable income. I don't have any disposable income, but nevertheless, I have enough. I have enough.
Mm.
And when you are after money, like the billionaires, and believe me, you probably saw that video of the tech people at dinner with Trump.
Yes.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
I
Oh,
wrote
yes.
I wrote Tim Cook. I wrote Mark Zuckerberg. I wrote a bunch of them saying, how could you? How could you? Look, these are the philanthropic endeavors that you are involved with. And don't you realize that by kissing this guy's ass, these philanthropic endeavors are going to not happen.
Right.
Right. As if
Right.
they give a shit about their philanthropic endeavors. I
Don't
mean,
get me started. Yeah.
please get started. That's what the show is for. Get started. Patricia, as you're talking, I love my parents, especially my mom. And yet I can't help but wish like I wish that someone older than me and my family had the wisdom that you have. Because these are things that Lawrence and I are actively struggling with, this idea of we live in late stage capitalism. I have two children who are approaching college age. I have a house. I'm a single mom with a house.
Wow.
All of these things and a life that is supported by a big corporate job. But part of it, the way of not being able to get out of it is like that's never been my family of origin story. It's like you work and you do what you got to do.
Right.
You do what you got to do. That's
Right.
sort of a mantra I've always lived by, and there's some wisdom in it because you do have to ultimately
Yes.
support whatever bottom line you have established for your life. But I want to hear about what else matters and how can you adjust your bottom line so that
Yes.
you can live a life in this authentic space connected to the spirit you're speaking about.
Right. Well,
So that when
I've always believed I will figure it out. And that's my financial plan. And I don't advise other people having the same plan, but I'll figure it out. And as long as I'm not beyond pumping gas if I have to, or working. I'd love to be a barista.
I've been thinking the same thing.
I'd love to be a barista, or even work at the Container Store or something like that. Or I love hardware stores too.
Oh my God, employee discounts.
I'll do I'll do whatever I have to do to, I'll flip burgers.
I have been thinking the same of like for those of us who don't yet qualify for Medicare, it all comes down to health insurance. And I'm like, what? And for me, I'm fanning this wish to be like, can I do something in the physical world that's actually doing something each day, but that when I'm done, it's done. Like
yes, and you
like
can
being a barista or working at Trader Joe's. I scanned your groceries. I greeted a bunch of people.
Yeah, right. Something that's where you're doing something that's of service and necessary, and but unfortunately you can't make a decent living that way.
Right.
Well, at least not where I live.
Not where in Seattle. Not even close. Not even close. But
I have a granddaughter in Seattle. Right.
Oh, you do?
She's a Microsoft person.
Okay.
Okay.
Lawrence and I have both done time there.
It is time there.
Patricia, I can't believe we're nearly at the top of the hour, and I really want to save time. We always ask a question of people on the show about what they think the most Gen X song is, but I want to hear from you about like your favorite song, because I feel like you are going to bring a lot of perspective to this with regard to music. So maybe not the Gen X song, but just a song that's incredibly meaningful to you, or a piece
I know
of music.
nothing about popular music. My I'm a classical musician, you know. I'm Bach and
Please,
That's
I am a
Lawrence.
Beethoven aficionado. I
oh
I cannot stop listening to uh, the Beethoven Violin Concerto or the Triple
oh
Concerto. That my all-time
oh
favorite pieces. So I would love to get a classical music answer to
yeah,
this question for
yeah.
once.
And every now and then I will on my Substack, I will leave something that I've played. I mean,
Mm,
I've left a couple of things with me playing. One was a jazz piece, and another was a Chopin nocturne. And I've done a bunch of Chopin nocturnes. I play a lot of Chopin, and it speaks to me, even though he fell out of favor because he was too accessible, too
mm,
popular.
hmm.
But he composed almost exclusively for the piano, and um, and it's challenging, and it is accessible, and it's romantic music, and it is wonderful, fun to play. And I love Bach. So between Bach and Chopin, you know, Baroque and romantic music.
Yeah.
So as far as songs go, I'm still back with the Beatles, you know, and I think my theme song would be Blackbird.
Oh, that is a great choice.
Yeah.
So
That's
good.
Have you heard the Beyonce cover of Blackbird?
I haven't.
You should go find it. Paul McCartney loves it.
Oh,
And I can't believe I'm about to say this. I like it better than the Beatles version.
oh. Well, I like a piano version by Brad Maldau, who is a jazz pianist,
Hmm.
Mm.
and so I'm not a sung version, but I'll
Yeah.
go check out Beyonce.
Yeah, apparently this, I didn't know this, but the origins of the song, oh, I'm going to mess this up now because my brain is made of Swiss cheese, but it was a song in solidarity, I believe, with Black women, or at least with the civil rights movement. Maybe it was just with the civil
Really?
rights movement. That would make more sense. And so he loves that Beyonce covered it, and her
Oh,
voice in that song is just in the harmony.
Sublime.
Like it's
Yeah.
super layered. It's I think you would like it. It's not classical music, but I
oh,
think you'd like it.
oh.
And I
Well,
have a new goal now that we're in StreamYard, Lawrence. If there's a way to do this, God, we would love to have you back on anyways in 2026. But could we get you to play? Wouldn't that be amazing if we could have Patricia come on and play, like play
oh,
piano?
um,
Would you ever do that live? Would
I
that be
would.
too weird?
I could send you a video.
Ooh, that would work too.
That would be
Yeah.
amazing.
How would I
Oh my,
send it to you?
Uh, just through email, and then we can upload it to the tool that we're using to do the broadcast.
Okay, I'll send you the two things that I
Oh,
already posted on Substack.
that's
oh my
exciting.
gosh.
That's
And
wonderful.
I'll send it to. So what's the email?
Um,
I'll contact you with the email.
Okay.
I have to ask one more thing before we go. You said your one of your parents was an opera singer, your father?
My dad.
So what about opera? What is your favorite, what is the piece of opera that for you embodies?
I don't like opera.
Ah,
My dad was undiagnosed bipolar,
ah,
but and a rageaholic. But
oh
I
God,
like
Patricia, I'm
if
sorry.
I were to pick an opera composer, it would be Puccini, and it would
Puccini.
be Madame Butterfly or La Boheme.
Yeah.
If
All
I
right.
were, it makes
I
me
love it.
cry. It does make me cry.
Yeah. Beautiful choices. Patricia,
Yes.
this was incredible. Thank you so much for taking
Thank
the time to be on the
you.
show.
I'm so
Thank
happy
So
we
you.
great.
finally made it happen, Patricia. We
Oh, me
finally made it
too.
happen. Oh my,
Anytime, as long as I keep my health. And
yes.
I have a terrible genetic load, and I have some health issues, as one does at 87. But I would be happy to come and talk to you guys anytime.
Thank
And
you so much.
and it was just a pleasure for me.
Oh my gosh. For us too, everyone in the chat, I don't know if you have it open here, but everyone's saying,
How do I open the
Patricia's amazing. Thanks for a great show. We love this.
chat?
Um,
How do I?
everyone is thanking you. So
Oh, comment.
um,
Okay.
Yeah,
yes, we're gonna all head into our
for
dates with
next
this
time
one.
we'll show you how to open a chat window. You just have to open a separate window and go to the chat. So we'll
Okay.
show you how to do that for next time.
Okay. Okay.
Oh my
Take care.
gosh.
Awesome. Thank you
Thank
so
you all.
much.
Thank you
Thanks
guys so much for
everybody. Thank
joining
you to
us.
the
We love
incredible
you. Mean
Patricia.
it.
Love you. Bye.
Bye,
Bye.
Mwah.
everybody.
Bye bye.